Venice, Florida was named the #1 place in Florida in 2023 for something very unique.
We're gonna tell you all about it, break down why we think it's accurate, and we're getting started right now. So Venice was named the #1 place in Florida that best balances big city living and suburban atmosphere, and #5 in the country in April in a survey conducted by Storage Cafe, a nationwide online search company for self-storage units. If you do want to buy or sell a home in the Venice area, get a hold of our team, 941-221-1897. Call or text at any time, whether you're looking to move in the next few days or the next few months. We'll always have your back, and we'll love to help you find your dream home. So the list was compiled from an analysis of 912 cities with populations between 10,000 and 100,000, which is probably a good range for, when you're talking urban meets suburban. You don't want to get too big, not too small. Goldilocks. In the 100 largest metropolitan areas. So I think, that also kind of puts it in context too, like a city or a suburb that has access to, a bigger metropolitan area, so you still have big city amenities at your fingertips.
Venice is near Sarasota, which is a bigger city. We're about 20 to 30 minutes drive, depending on traffic. And Sarasota has great big city amenities without being an overwhelming big city. There is the UTC Mall, there is all the different downtowns to pick from, lots of different cuisines and restaurants, and a great food scene, a lot of culture.
Yeah, and just the metropolitan area as a whole. I mean, you're not just talking Sarasota, Venice is kind of part of that, of course, and then you've got Lakewood Ranch, you've got Bradenton is kind of part of that area, Northport and Welland Park, which those feel, like Venice feels a little bit separate in Welland Park and Northport from Sarasota. But again, like she said, you're pretty close. And then Lakewood Ranch, Sarasota, and Bradenton all kind of feel a little bit more like one thing. Good to have all those amenities and access to all that. Plenty to do there. And like she said, the downtowns, you've got St. Armand Circle, Siesta Key Village, the main Sarasota downtown. You've got the different Lakewood Ranch downtowns. There's 2 of those, a third one on the way.
And then the Welland Park brand new downtown as well, which is very, very close to Venice.
Yeah.
And the actual Venice downtown.
Yeah, so we'll focus a lot on the Venice downtown and a little bit on the Welland Park as we get further into the video. Metrics included housing affordability, which I think is important because it's great if it's got that blend of suburban and urban, but if no one can afford to live there, how great is it, right? Diversity, demographics, the business environment, shopping and dining amenities, which I think we do really, really well on. Definitely dining and shopping if you're into the more boutique stuff, especially like in the downtown area.
Yeah, or souvenirs too as well. We do have a couple big department stores, like we have a Target, Bell's Florida, Home Centric, Marshalls,
TJ Maxx, Walmart, of course. Everyone's got their Walmart. Yeah, plenty as far as that goes. And then grocery stores too. We've got, there's a few ones that we don't have that I wouldn't mind have, like a Walmart Neighborhood Market, a Trader Joe's, or a Whole Foods, but we still got like Aldi, we got all the Publix.
We have a Costco coming to Welland Park.
And then also Detweiler's, which is more of a local-ish thing. There's also one up in Sarasota, and I think there's a couple more actually, but I think it started in Sarasota, but yeah, that's a super unique little grocery store. So we do really, really well on that side of things, especially with restaurants too. I think, when you talk about the downtown restaurants and just really all throughout Venice, the whole city has a lot of great dining amenities. Health, which Sarasota Memorial Hospital, brand new facility just opened in the North Venice area, one of the top ranked hospitals in the United States. And of course, the most important thing you really want to know, at least according to Storage Cafe, self-storage prices and availability. But I mean, really, it is kind of important because we don't have basements and attics that you really want to store stuff in anyway. So a lot of people do use a lot of storage facility.
Yeah, and unless you have like a 3-car garage home and use the 1-car garage as your storage, then you don't need a self-storage unit. But if you don't have access to that, then you kind of do. The way to go, in my opinion, is just downsizing. Yeah,
I was just going to say, if you're going to move to Florida, downsize. You don't need as much probably. There's a lot of stuff you're probably storing that you don't need. And then the rest of everything goes into the laundry room, the garage, and closets, and under beds. And maybe buy a few more cabinets for the house. So anyways, why do we feel like Venice really fits the bill for this? Well, I think a lot of it, you have to start with the downtown. Because the downtown has a very, again, urban meets suburban feel. Just the shops and the restaurant, it feels small town, it feels quaint, but it feels somewhat urban with all the sidewalks and just, there's a lot of people there hanging out, but in a much different vibe than a typical big city downtown.
And also with all the trees as well and the flowers, the little flower baskets in downtown Venice, Heritage Park, which it's a park in the median of Venice Ave, and there is a lot of trees there. There is banyan trees, which is kind of what we are known for. And they recently added bench swings as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, all those little things kind of give it a little bit of a small town charm, even though like when you go there, especially during the winter, there's going to be a lot of people there.
Yes.
But it's different, like I was saying, like than a typical big city downtown, because the people there aren't like in a hurry to get anywhere. They're all there to like hang out, relax.
Enjoy the weather, enjoy the city.
Yeah, go check out the shops and the restaurants and things like that. Also, the canopy, all the trees, the big canopy of the oak trees on Heritage Park, that, little touches like that just really make it what it is. And then you've got all the Italian architecture, the buildings. They don't want the buildings too high. I believe the limit is 2, maybe 3 stories. I think and I want to say it's like 40 feet is the max height they want the buildings. So it gives it sort of a big, but not too big of a feel.
Yeah.
And then you combine that with the nice walkway that you can walk from the downtown through Heritage Park to the beach, and then being able to feel the breeze from the beach and having that coastal feel combined with the Italian architecture, the small shops, the mood that everyone's in. It totally fits the bill of urban meets suburban.
Yes, and with everyone always, being relaxed too, it feels like a small city. And I think that's great, and I think that's probably why we got this award.
And I think another thing that I never really thought about before we started making this video, it's really unique in the fact that there's like a lot of housing options like that you can like walk to all that stuff in the downtown and some of the other shopping areas we'll talk about in a second. But the downtown has all those shops and restaurants, and a lot of people would normally wouldn't want to live like a block away from a really busy area with shops and restaurants, because it's like, oh, there's probably all this riffraff, or just too much traffic, all this. But all the side streets stay pretty quiet.
Yes.
And if anything, I'd say it's more desirable to live a block away from the downtown or a block away from the beaches where all the people are going to, because it just doesn't feel that busy just a block away. It's really interesting how it blends all that together.
How much quieter it gets, yeah.
And I think part of the way the whole downtown looks, but also the side streets feel, has to do with the whole area being master planned years ago by John Nolan. So I think that does a really, really good job of making it feel still suburban and quiet and livable, but urban.
Yes.
With all the stuff to do.
And having access to all that stuff too, and not having to get on your car to go somewhere. Especially with the weather, maybe during the summer it's too hot, but pretty much throughout the year, you can just walk and get some exercise in and go grab a bite to eat or a coffee, and you don't feel like you have to drive somewhere to go if you live in that area.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or go in your golf cart.
Yeah, exactly. So then on that note, so all that downtown and all the living we were just talking about there is on Venice, what's called Venice Island. And so outside of the island, you've got different little strip outlet malls and stuff. There's one big one that just got built, and there's also an older one that's on the south end, towards South Venice area, east/south, I guess you could say. So the newer one is kind of just off of the island, a little bit more east inland. And behind that, you got the Venice Gardens area, which is low HOA, or low restriction anyway type living. And again, in front of that, you've got the strip outlets with all kinds of new stuff. You've got Parlor Donuts, which are great donuts. Yes. Tropical Smoothie Cafe. You've got Aldi grocery store, Kendo, which is sushi and Japanese.
There's the hot dog and beer place.
Yep, Crave.
There's also a gym in that little
B
area
Fitness,
as well.
Burlington, Marshalls.
There's a Dollar Tree.
Home Centric. So lots of stuff there. You kind of get the picture, right? Lots to do there, lots of shopping, lots of restaurants. And it's a strip mall. So usually it's, this big parking lot. Again, not the kind of area you would probably want to live right behind. But again, just a block or two behind it, you could live, and it doesn't feel all that hectic, all that crazy. I mean, obviously a little bit busier if you're on one of the main roads, side roads from that. But the majority of the traffic is going along Tamiami. Then you got your strip mall, and then behind that, the living situation. And because of that, there's not that much traffic back behind it, and you could live really close to that kind of stuff. Again, kind of bringing together that urban and suburban feel. I think that's really unique.
And you could walk from those areas to go shopping, to big department stores, and you don't feel, again, like you have to get in your car and drive 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get somewhere. Yeah,
and again, or golf cart. Venice Gardens, we see a lot of golf carts in that area. And yeah, I mean, granted, I think the odds of being able to get a place that's you'll likely walk to that is not maybe the highest, but even then you're talking a really, really short drive to get to all that stuff. So you can live in your little suburban quiet area and still be really, really close to that. And then on the south end of Venice, we've got the other strip outlet that's got your Bell's, Outlet, I think it is. Bell's Outlet, Bell's
Bell's
Florida.
Home Centric.
There's another Dollar Tree there.
Target, couple of restaurants.
Panda Express, McDonald's.
Applebee's.
And across,
Skillets.
And across, yeah, Skillets is really good. UPS place. And then across the street from that, you've got your Walmart. Did we say Target? There's a Target there. So even like back behind that, again, pretty quiet, pretty suburban. Because again, it's a similar layout. You got Tamiami, which is one of the busiest roads in all of Venice. Then you got your strip outlets, and then behind that you got more houses, and those streets are generally more quiet. And another thing I think really helps give Venice this urban meets suburban feel is another award we actually were given, which is, it was named the Tree City in 2023. There's actually a bunch more awards that Venice won. If you want us to talk about those more, leave a comment below and we'll make videos of them. And basically the awards about, having a certain amount of trees, making sure they're, cared for and maintained and all that sort of thing. And it got me thinking about some of the cities I visited across the United States and Canada. I've been to a lot of different cities and traveled quite a bit. And one of my favorite ones for its feel was Vancouver. And so when I was in Vancouver, I'm like, man, this feels like a big city, but it also feels like small town and very pleasant and like friendly. And I think some of that had to do with the people, but then the guy that I was staying with, he was telling me how they actually have like a ordinance or something like that about having a certain amount of trees per block or square mile or something like that. And as we were driving and looking, and I looked around a little more, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see it now. Like, look at all the trees, and how it really changes the vibe of the city. It takes it from being this concrete jungle to having a little bit more of a suburban, pleasant, park-like feel. And it really helps. And so now when we come to Venice and I look at this award, I'm like, you know what? There's a correlation there. There's lots of trees throughout the city. They're well maintained.
Yes, and actually Venice has, it says here, forestry budget of at least $2 per capita, which I think that's a healthy budget for a small city like Venice, because our trees are very well taken care of. It's not like we have trees everywhere and they're just, like wild trees. It's like you can tell the city actually cares for and takes care of our trees. Yeah, and the downtown's a great example. Flowers, the banyan trees, the palm trees, all even through the middle of the downtown with all the shops and restaurants and little pots with flowers everywhere. Like, they do that really, really well. Like, they don't waste any space, like any medians. It's not just like grass and it's all, grown with like weeds and stuff in it. They have like actual plants that are manicured and maintained, and they have built-in irrigation systems and the whole 9 yards, and it really does add to the vibe of the city. It does, and the mix between the colorful flowers and the green of the trees, it just makes Venice what it is and what people love about it, which is a small town, tight-knit community. So if you want to buy or sell a home in the Venice area, be sure to get a hold of our team, 941-221-1897. Call or text at any time, whether you're looking to move in the next few days or the next few months. We'll always have your back, and we want to help you find your dream home. If you want to learn more about Venice, check out this playlist right here. Subscribe and turn all notifications on to catch our newest videos to see what's happening in the city, and live breezy.